welcome to the second episode of Storm Talks Live. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Without further ado, I want to introduce my guest, Professor Hilary Russo. For everyone who doesn't know who you are, tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you get into broadcasting? And what do you do outside of St. John's?
Sure. Well, I started out as a radio DJ for an overnight shift when I was right out of college, and then kind of fell into the television area by news anchoring and doing a lot of travel reporting. So I've been around, and QVC kind of came to me when I moved back to New York. What I do with QVC is I represent products for vendors who are on QVC. So what they call it is a guest expert, an on-camera guest, an on-camera guest expert, guest host. There's so many different terms for it.
Can I kind of put you on the spot a little bit to kind of show us what you do on QVC? I mean, like, if anyone would like to give her a product, so what is this, a water bottle?
So you're my vendor. You know, if you have that love for mason jars, the old jam jars, they're really in right now. They're really trendy. And I love that Tiffany has this jar because it actually looks like a lid. Can I open this? Is that okay? It looks like an old time metal lid that comes with the mason jar. It's got the straw included, easy to wash. You can put it in the dishwasher. I mean, there are so many things I love about this. And you know, the average person you're supposed to get 64 ounces of water a day. And this is 16 ounces. So you only need a couple ounces of this a day to actually get your full allotment of water.
You know what? I think.
And that's the Cool Gear Mason Jar sippy cup on a go.
So let's back up just a tad bit, you know, because you're young. You're young.
Thank you.
At what point did you realize that broadcast and just entertainment in general was your line of work?
I think for me, I've always been in the performing arts. I started out in theater. I was always working in a field where I felt like I was either the bearer of the news, liked to perform, liked to have an audience, and communications was always something that came very naturally to me. So falling into the field of broadcasting was not something so foreign to me. I'm sure many of you start out at college, you didn't know your major. I think I was an English major when I look back at my freshman yearbook. So I started realizing, hey, I love to write, I love to tell stories, and it kind of just opened up some doors for me.
Your first job, I'm sure were you nervous your first job out of college?
Yeah, I mean, I walked into something new. I was 22 years old, and I wanted to learn. Like, I wanted to learn from the storytellers. I even would take a piece of material and try to make it my own from a possible package or news package that was already created, just to bring a little bit of me to something that already existed.
What would you say is the best advice that you have ever gotten, something that's beneficial to myself, that wants to be in your position later in life, and anyone else who's in the audience that you can provide us?
Focus, follow your passion, always have integrity in the work that you do, be authentic. I think the big thing is that people are going to challenge you throughout your entire life, and there are going to be people that are like, oh, maybe you should, let's try something else. Don't listen. Like, do what your heart tells you to do, because only you know. You
know, at times you're gonna go to work and you're gonna say, oh, I don't wanna do this. But ultimately, that's the most satisfying thing when you come back home. I mean, you work it out, you get through the day, and it ends up being, a positive result. So,
and knowing that what you put out into the world is something that you're really proud of. You can't always love every piece of work you do. You might be given a project you didn't really like, but do it with full game on, put everything into it, because even if it's not something you love, at least you can walk away with your stamp on it and know that it is the best work you can possibly do. And I think that's what's really important.